Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Koske and Sean Gunn.
I couldn't be in. He wanted me to be in Slither,
I was hoping you were going to be in that.
but I couldn't be in it both because I was under contract for Gilmore Girls at the time, so it was hard to. It would have been hard to get away anyway. Plus, it was hard for him because they were shooting in Vancouver, and he didn't have. He was a first-time director basically, so like he didn't have a lot of power to bring me up to Canada. So it's like, so I didn't do that. We did this. Don't watch it if you have offendable sensibilities. We did this web series called Human Z that we did an episode of.
Yeah.
That I am in, but the makeup was so excruciating that I told him I was like, I can't. If you want to shoot more of these, I cannot do it unless they, if you change the makeup process or whatever. And but we didn't shoot anymore. So I don't know. There you go.
Thank you.
I was wondering, what was it like working with Dave Bautista, the wrestler, in the movie?
Oh,
and would you do another project with him?
I love Dave Bautista. He's as close of a friend as I made on the set of Guardians, and I was there for his whole process. So I was there when he came in for his work session before he auditioned. I was there for his screen test, at least his first screen test, and I was rooting hard for him to get the role because I knew how hard he worked on it and how good I thought he could be. So when he was cast, and he was the first choice of everyone who went through the audition process, I just thought it was a really great. I was really rooting for him, and so then we got to be good friends. And over the course of the two movies, I just think he's a really warm, excellent human being, and I love working with him. And he and I have talked actually at length about trying to do another project together.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's so good. Wait until you guys see him in the second movie. He's so funny. He's so good. Yes.
With the exception of this question, what is the oddest question you've gotten and what was your answer? And this is for both of you.
The oddest question I had, I don't know. I've had some weird ones. It'd be hard to pick like an oddest one. People are like obsessed with zombies from The Walking Dead, so I get some really weird zombie questions that are really uncomfortable. So you're just kind of like, excuse me, I have to go.
We've gotten some questions. Rooker and I, Laura's back there smiling, about we got some oddly sexually themed questions that that people are trying to at panels.
See, I get those, but they involve zombies. And
yeah, there you go. I can tell you this though. My biggest pet peeve, I had one yesterday, is when people ask questions about playing pranks on set. I get it every convention. People are like, "Did anybody play any practical jokes?" And it's like, what a weird question that is. I don't know.
Thank you.
Sure.
No? Oh, well, I've got one for Michael. The cat's out of the bag. You're in Guardians of the Galaxy.
I am.
So, who are you? What do you do? And how does the movie end?
I'm actually part of Sean's crew. I'm one of the Ravagers on there. And luckily, I've been in a couple of the trailers and now a photo on Entertainment Weekly. So,
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I'm definitely excited. It's a ton of fun. I was definitely fanboying hard, especially with Sean when he's doing Rocket's voice. It's like the coolest thing. I honestly think you should have been Rocket's voice.
Oh, I appreciate that. But the Ravagers have a much bigger role in the second movie, and it's a very cool group of guys, fun group of people to be on set with.
Yeah, it was fun. It's funny. Yesterday, his brother James posted a video, and it showed us, and it was really neat because, like I said, it was a long day of filming, and we were all having so much fun. And we had wandered out kind of into the holding area, and we started like cheering, like as each of the Ravagers would come out, we were like congratulating for a good day, and the group grew and grew. To where it was all of us Ravagers, and anytime anybody came out the door, we're like cheering as loud as we can, and just like hugging everybody. And it went on for like half an hour, and finally James was trying to figure out what was going on, So he sent Simon out, and I guess he went and told him what happened. So he came out and he was filming. And as soon as he opened the door, we're all like, "Wah!" and like screaming and hollering and hooting and stuff. It was a lot of fun.
That's really cool. Other questions? Yeah?
What is it like to play a character who's only 3 foot tall?
Yeah, it's
Painful?
it's it is can be quite physically challenging. Because I always, my task in every shot is to get my eyes where Rocket's eyes would be. And so in order to do that, I have to contort my body in a number of different ways, depending on where he's sitting or standing. And if he's walking and talking, then I'm actually moving across the floor, walking from a squatted position, essentially. It's, you know, I'm pretty limber and I can fold up pretty easily. So I just get down and do it, but I do have to keep a fairly strict like workout regimen when we're shooting, and I have to like stay healthy and in shape, because otherwise I really feel it at the end of the day, particularly in my ankles and my feet.
What I thought was cool is not only are you doing like you said, but when you're reading the lines, I mean, you're not just reading them for them to react to you. I mean, you're actually like emotionally doing it for like it was actually a Rocket, and we would all just sit there and watch you like, oh wow.
Thanks. Yeah, I actually play the role on set, so it's like I prepare for it just like I do any other part, because that's necessary for the other actors to be able to give their best performance, and I'm there for them, really. I'm there for the other actors so that everything they do looks as realistic as possible when they're reacting with Rocket, and then the visual effects team uses me for reference. But be very clear that as much as I love doing it, that I think Bradley Cooper is great, and like when he comes in at the end and there's sort of a template for what's going on, and he constructs his vocal performance based on what we've already set up for him. I think it's a great marriage. You know, I think that all the pieces fit really well to make Rocket as interesting and as realistic as possible.
It's interesting how like you do like all the motion capture you're seeing, right? But then like Bradley Cooper is all the focus, he's like the voice, but you're like just as much of the character as he is then too.
Is that a question?
Find that you ever like notice that, or like do you ever find like there's a lot of focus put on voices instead of the actual actor sometimes?
Well,
unless you're like a big name actor.
I think that for this, in this, like Rocket is just so unique in terms of he's a unique character anyway, because he's such a strange thing. You know, there's only one of them. He was genetically engineered to act like a person, even though he wasn't born one. And then the process for animating that character had to be unique, because most characters that are 100% CGI that are in movies are humanoid enough that you can do full motion capture, and you can have the little balls on people, and you can there's an algorithm that helps to create those characters. So like Gollum or the apes in Planet of the Apes, but they're humanoid characters, so they have faces that can be translated through the computer too. But a raccoon's face is too different, so we weren't able to. You can't do motion capture with a human face to a raccoon face. The animators have to do it individually, frame by frame. They have to build models in the computer and manipulate them that way. And so we were just inventing the process as we went along. We didn't know what would work best. And so yeah, it's like it takes a whole team of people to make Rocket. It's too complicated for one person or one actor to do it. So yeah, I think that we all have our different roles, you know. I do a lot of the work on set, but I'm not, you know, I only play the part up to a certain extent, and then it gets taken over for a little bit, and then it gets taken over again. So I don't know. There's no competition involved in it, you know what I mean?
I just like people always think it's like the Bradley Cooper character because they hear his voice. You never really think of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what they hear, so I don't mind that. I mean, that's cool. I mean, I think of it that way too, kind of. Yeah.
Really talented raccoon actor acquired, like for motion capture, a talking raccoon to do.
What's that? Hire a really talented raccoon. You know what's funny is there is a raccoon who lives in England whose name is Oreo. That my brother has there's a wildlife rescue outside London called Oreo and Friends, and there's a raccoon there that that my brother met and actually used for the most part as the model for Rocket, so that he brought the VFX team. He brought him to meet them, and he's like, this is the size and basic look of Rocket. And then he added a couple of features that he borrowed from his dog, Dr. Wesley Von Spears. Then Wesley has, so some of Rocket's features, like some of his teeth and stuff, he's got some jagged teeth and things that are based off of Wesley. But yeah, no, Oreo went to the London premiere with my brother, so he's on the red carpet with Oreo. So you see him, he looks like Rocket, pretty much.
Like the elephant.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yes.
Rocket gonna do anything cool in Infinity War?
Oh man, I can't say. If I say anything about that, I'll get hit with like a poison dart from a Marvel operative, I think.
The
I can.
implant in your neck will explode.
Yeah, right, exactly. I'm Belko Experiment. I am proud to say that I'm working, the same work that I do to assist the creation of Rocket. For Guardians, I am now doing for the Avengers movies, and that is all I can say.
So there'll be an animated character.
But we
in
are
Avengers.
currently shooting, so yeah. All
Yeah,
year
there's a
long.
question over here.
Hey, it's for both of you since you both worked with Michael Rooker.
Uh-huh.
I met him a few years ago,
Mhm.
and what's he like between takes? Because when I met him, it was like a guy on speed. He
Yeah,
was
he's
all
even
over the
worse.
place.
He's even worse.
He's even worse?
Yeah, he's god awful.
Because he hijacked Scott Wilson's Q&A in Montreal.
Yeah, he hijacks everything he
And it
does.
was like, where's this guy come from? Because he just appeared out of nowhere. I knew who it was, but it was just hilarious. So.
What'd you think of working with Rooker?
I love it on The Walking Dead and Guardians. I mean, he's the same guy. He's like, he's turned up all the way all the time. But I love how in Guardians your brother would really mess with him. Like he'd do a scene, and he's like, "How was that?" And James was like, "Well, it'd be better if Gary Busey did it." We lost every time, and Mike just takes the punches.
Yeah, he does. It was like, Gary Busey wasn't available, so we had to get Rooker.
Now, can you imagine Yondu? Gary Busey is Yondu.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what I did in a past life to be cursed with having Rooker follow me basically everywhere I go. We've done 4 movies together now. We've probably done 20 conventions, so we do those panels, and I actually love Rooker. He's like my brother. He's one of the greatest guys I've ever known. And, don't tell him I said that.
I was either lucky enough or unfortunate enough. You can pick either one. In Denver, I did a con with him, and somebody asked a question about like killing zombies and how he would do it, and I just happened to be there, so he pulls me up and he's like beating the crap out of me, like, "Oh, this is what I do," and I'm taking it like what do I do? I told Michael Rooker no.
Rooker's role in Guardians 2 is amazing, and he's amazing in it. Like I think it's sort of, he kind of owns that movie. Yes.
When you did The Walking Dead, when you put on the makeup, would have been hot as really, really hot. Did you have to do touch-ups to fix up the makeup?
It's a Guardians panel.
Yes. It is a Guardians panel, but it also works for Guardians, because when we're in makeup, they come around all day doing touch-ups and just making sure
But it'd
everything's
be
right.
pretty hot under the.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's not hot in Atlanta.
We'll have days
Oh,
on.
yeah.
There are days on Guardians where we'll have 80 plus makeup artists on set. Like forget about how many. You can imagine how many extras. That they're dealing with for there to be that many makeup
Yeah,
artists.
we'd go into a room like as big as this, just lined with tables of all makeup artists, and they would follow us around all day, touching everything up.
Yeah.
More questions?
Okay.
Sure.
It's for Sean. It's an off topic of Guardians. For the Belko Experience.
Yeah.
What was it like taking your brother's work and having it directed through another man's eyes?
You know, it was a little different. I think there are definitely times, Greg McLean did a great job directing Belko Experiment. But yeah, there are times when I hear it, I hear words a little differently, and I think he would have steered things in maybe a little bit of a different direction. But it's not easy to I definitely imagine that it's not easy being a director to come in and work for a writer who normally directs his own stuff. You know, like that must be a difficult process. But I don't know. It just changes. I think from my point of view, it's not that big of a deal. It's just it's different. You work differently with different directors. So I work differently with Greg than I do with my brother. And I have such a shorthand for work with my brother that we can, you know, we can do things really more efficiently than I can really with anyone else. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a different experience.
It was a good movie, by the way.
Belko?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
thanks.
enjoyed it.
See it.
Thanks.
I wanted Marty to be in it more. I wanted a
Oh,
bigger
thanks.
death for Marty too.
Yeah, you know, Marty had the reason that. So for those of you who don't know, it's this horror movie, the Belko Experiment, that came out last month, and it's very, very violent.
Yeah.
And my brother wrote it but didn't direct it. And yeah, I actually had a more. The reason that my death is so meh is that I have a long death scene with it's extended with with Adria Arjona, where she comes in and she's like holding my hand, and I actually die on camera. But it didn't work for the pacing of the movie, and it had to be cut, which I totally get. Like, that happens. You always have to be prepared for that. But they didn't replace it with anything. Like, we didn't shoot anything on set. Like, I don't know why we didn't just get like just a 3-second version of me dying or something. And it's so, as it is, I just get shot and fall off screen. Although technically you could argue that maybe my character lived, so I could be in a sequel then.
Maybe, because phase 2 has begun, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Has anybody seen the Belko Experiment? I like 3 people.
Yeah.
It's worth it. I check it out.
It's a small movie. It was very, very low budget. You know, and it was cool that it got. We were happy just to get a theatrical release, and it's done fine. It made its money back.
It's one of those where I saw the trailer and it was like, oh, everybody from every TV show I like is in this.
Yeah, that I will
It's
say it was
crazy
the
how
most.
many-
We shot for 6 weeks in Bogota, Colombia, and it was the most fun I've ever had working on something because the cast was so. There's like 20 of us, and we were really tight knit, and we all hung out together all the time. So like we'd be going into bars and restaurants and dancing and stuff, and we'd be rolling like 12, 15, 20 people deep, like every night. We were all going and hanging out. It was great. It was great fun.
More questions? No? Okay, we can go standard. How did you get the Guardians gig?
I had to audition for it. It was kind of cool because we actually did, they call it a boot camp, and they brought in a bunch of us, and they split us up into like alternate days. Where I did like a Monday, Wednesday, and the other group came in Tuesday and Thursday. And when we went through all kinds of stuff, like it was team building exercise where we all got to know each other and kind of come up with characters and work it up. Then they even had us film our own little, almost like an online dating video that we had, and it all went to James Gunn. So we're all coming up with like crazy, funny things to say while we're there. So there's like 100 guys in there, and mine was like, you know, I was here because I was told it was an online dating service, but it's all guys, and we're just doing like funny stuff like that. But we ended up like for 12 hours a day, just like doing acting exercises, rehearsing a few of the scenes that we actually did for your brother. It was funny because when we did one scene, it turned out it was a scene where Taserface is in it, but nobody knew the names of the characters, so we referred to him as Big Head. So at one point we're like chanting Big Head, and your brother's like dying laughing, and it was funny. But we ended up, so we did the big boot camp, and from that boot camp he came out and he picked the ones for the Ravagers, and I was lucky enough to be one of them.
That's cool. I didn't know any of that. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, it was fun.
How many did he whittle it down from the boot camp to the final?
The final one, I think there was 50 of us, and there was, I think, 65 in each group.
Okay.
For the 2 days, and before that, it was thousands of people that submitted to be it too.
I would watch an American Idol show based on that.
That's interesting, right?
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, that would be fun.
So did you know what you were auditioning for during that
Oh yeah,
process?
oh yeah, we all knew.
Because some actors go and audition and they have no idea what they're auditioning for. Like I asked that to Robin Lord Taylor last year, who was Penguin on Gotham.
Mhm.
He had no idea what he was auditioning for.
No, yeah, we all knew. They have like code names for the movies, so it's like when they put the signs up for filming it, people don't just show up and stuff like that. But we all knew what that code name was, and once we got the email that said that name, we were like, oh my god.
Well, it's gotta be tough to hide it, like big budget James Gunn movie. Like, what else is he doing right now?
Well, I mean, we do our best not to say what we're working on. I mean, our family knows, and they wonder where we go every day. But yeah.
Totally. I'll tell you the non-disclosure stuff. Like now that I'm working on Avengers, it's amazing how I don't see any of the script except my scenes. And even that I'm generally being watched by someone, so that I can't get digital copies of my script or anything like that. And it's so tightly guarded. Everything on set, every call sheet. We don't get, actors get call sheets every day that say the scenes that we're doing and what's on tap for the next day and all this kind of thing. We don't get those. We get to look at them, but they have to stay there. They all get shredded. It's all like, it's crazy how closely guarded it all is.
It was funny, on our first day of the boot camp, we had to sign non-disclosures for all of that. And one guy, it was the first thing he had ever worked on, his first movie, and he actually tweeted a picture of his non-disclosure. Yeah, right there at Pinewood. He tweets it, and he's all these hashtags about like made it and suck it bitches and all this stuff, and how popular. And he's holding up a picture of his non-disclosure agreement. And maybe like 20 minutes after that, the nice Marvel security came walking in and talked to Tammy Smith and a couple other people. Had a little meeting, and then they came out. We all had to stop doing everything, and they addressed it. So within 20 minutes, his tweet went to LA, to London, and back, and they came in and they dragged him out. And I mean, they definitely made a statement.
Did he keep his job?
No.
I was going to say, he got fired, I'm sure,
he got
right?
fired, and he will never work at Disney, Marvel, anything.
Oh, wow.
So they're serious about it. I mean, any hashtags, they've got everything set up to where.
Well,
like,
what a moron. Really? I mean, it's like how stupid do you have to be to tweet?
He disclosed,
right. It's not like
he disclosed his non-disclosure.
Yeah.
But it was
It's
hilarious.
like,
He was definally the talk of our Ravagers through the whole filming.
It's like, hey, I hid the money where no one will ever find it. Tweeting a picture of it.
But yeah,
Unless it was a studio plant. It was like, okay, there's always one guy who's screwed up, so everybody knows.
No, this guy was too dumb to be a studio. Nowadays everything's like geolocated, so you tweet a picture and you can tell where it's coming from. And they have Marvel people. That's all they do is sit there and scan for stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they probably have staff just.
But also, they're there for like the people that are just scanning for stuff like that for Marvel are matched by people by like fans and people from the press who just are scanning looking for that information.
Oh,
so they really are. Like we did a day on the first Guardians movie. We were out in the middle of the field. It's the scene where Yondu wastes all those Sakaran guards with his. It's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. But there were paparazzi in the trees, like way over, and they were using a long lens and getting, they went to great lengths to sneak on the set, and there's a lot of that.
Yeah, we had some on this Guardians too, because we ended up seeing pictures of some of us in costume. Because every time you go outside to smoke or to go to the bathroom or anything, you have to put it on a big raincoat, cover everything. And we started seeing pictures popping up of like us, like you can see the trailers and someone going by. And I mean, they're from like far away. And we heard at one point there was somebody was flying a drone over, all kinds of stuff. So people are doing their best to see anything they can.
It's so crazy.
I was just wondering, you were talking about the secrecy with the scripts. I've heard other companies using colored paper. Does Marvel use that method? Or is it just basically, okay, here, study your lines and then give it back? So I have a script from the X-Files film, and it was printed on red paper, so it can't be photocopied. Does Marvel implement that? Like,
Oh, no, I mean, the scripts are different colors, but that's not so that they can't be copied, it's so that it's to code what version of the script it is. So yeah, I don't know, but we don't, like, yeah, these scripts, I don't know the answer to that question, actually. I'm not sure, but they are different colors.
Like, I've heard, like, well, Chris Carter said it himself, he printed it on red paper, so it can't be like, oh, somebody grabs it and tries to Xerox a bunch of copies to sell online.
I think the technology is better now than it was when X-Files was on, because if you have a good scanning app, you could do it. You could do anything with color paper now. I think.
Any more questions? We've got time for one more. Here we go.
This would be for both of you. Between both films, like, who did you find you had the most fun working with while you were actually doing your scenes in that? Whether it was just how they worked with you, like, or off of you, or just how they were around the set in between takes, that kind of stuff.
I don't know, geez. I was so excited to work with everybody. I mean, it was so much fun to work with. And, I mean, we goofed off a little bit between scenes, but, I mean, I think the camaraderie between your brother and Rooker was so funny to watch, because they would just, like, go back and forth picking on each other, and we're dying laughing the entire time. So.
I mean, I'll say, yeah, that's a good ending question, because I'll say, truly, and also to, help promote the movie, everyone go see it, that my brother does a really great job of vetting the actors that he hires before he casts them. And he does not like working with big egos or divas or assholes. It's just like, life is too short. And so, in addition to being great at their roles, I think that the Guardians team really does feel like a family more than any other project I've ever worked on. And I can say sincerely that everybody, Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, Palm, Clementieff, who's Mantis in the new movie, Karen Gillan, Elizabeth Debicki, Rooker, I mean, everybody, Kurt Russell, it's like they're just great. Like, I love all of those people. I mean, it's hard to find somebody more fun to work with than Chris Pratt, because he's just incredibly, legitimately funny all the time, and a great, genuine dude. So, I mean, maybe I'd say him, but you heard me talk about Bautista before, and like, I love all those guys, and that's why I'm really like excited to go back and do a third movie. I mean, it was great to see them just on set for Avengers. It's like we genuinely like one another, and I think I couldn't pick a better group of people.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Koske and Sean Gunn.
Thanks, guys.
Come by my table and say hi.